You are live on 98.9 Northwest FM. It is the Tuesday Review. I'm Nathan, as always, joined by James. What's going on, James? What's made you happy in the last week?
Not much.
I need to come up with some little kind of like hand-me-out cards I can just give you boys every week with just some general options.
Yeah, but will those options always align up with... I guess we could do like really general stuff, like just the fact that like cheese exists.
I'll take that as a win, yeah.
But
cheese made you happy?
Yeah. I was going to say the new season of Slow Horses starts in a couple of weeks.
That's also a valid option.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, the trailer came out. Yeah. Also, joined by Callum. What's made you happy in the last week, Callum?
You know, there was basically going to be no answer because it's been what a dreadful week it's been for me. Not to have a pity party in the studio. But then I saw that there's a UAP hearings that is going to be going live. I mean, I've got work, so it doesn't affect me. But, you know, in my previous life where I wasn't working mornings, I would have been thrilled to watch the UAP hearing live at, I think it's like 11 p.m. our time. Where there's going to be a whole bunch of new, I think there's 5 witnesses. One allegedly is a first-hand witness on a crash retrieval program.
Which is the first time a first-hand witness...
Allegedly first-hand. But it's one of those situations where they claim that and then maybe they'll get up in front, under oath, and they'll be like, oh, well, actually.
Yeah.
But either way, that's something that makes me happy because I live and breathe this stuff.
Look, it is exciting. My only concern is they'll get up there and they'll be like, oh, I can't answer that unless we're in a skiff. I can't answer that unless we're in a skiff.
You need someone who has signed no NDAs or is just willing to go to jail.
Yeah.
Or someone who's dying and doesn't care anymore.
Someone who's got, who's got the UAP radiation issues going on. And
if you're a first-hand witness and you are testifying under oath, you can do it without breaking the law. Yeah, you can say, yes, I handled the craft. I can't tell you the company I worked for. I can do that in private channels, but I can confirm to you that they exist and I can confirm this, this, and this without do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to go up there and every answer be like, redaction. But anyway, that made me happy because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. As for me, what's made me happy is, and James is going to laugh and possibly walk out, The Last Witch Hunter 2 with Vin Diesel.
Michael Caine's last film,
announced. Yeah, Michael Caine's coming out of retirement for this glorious, trashy masterpiece.
Okay, 2 things. When was the first one? More than 10 years
I
ago.
know,
like 2013 or something?
Yeah, I didn't think we were ever going to get a sequel.
I'm not I haven't seen the original, but like I'm not even kind of mad because I know that Vin Diesel is really passionate about that. Yeah. So the fact that it's been all these years and he's like, I'm going to get to do another one.
It's those things in my head canon. He's sitting there making all this money from Fast and Furious, and he's like, just got to get through these Fast and Furious movies so I can make The Last Witch Hunter 2.
The only reason he came back to Fast and Furious was so he could get the rights to do more Riddick.
Yeah.
So he's like really into that.
I love the idea.
Stuff, so.
He's sitting at home and he's like, I hate cars.
Yeah.
And I love fantasy.
The character he plays is like this muscly car guy who beats people up. But in reality, he's like, can't wait to play D&D when I get home.
Look, the original's it's not like a masterpiece.
I thought it was fun.
When the second one comes out, maybe we can watch the first one and
also
talk about it.
Looking back, not terrible. If it was made today, I think terrible.
I remember,
but because it was made in 2013, not as bad as it could be.
That's true. I mean, 2013 was a long time ago.
I think it was 2013.
Yeah, well,
if not earlier, anyway.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that Michael Caine's coming back out of retirement for that movie.
What was his last movie? It wasn't that
2015.
Oh, Last Witch Hunter was 2015.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 years.
It was a couple years ago. It was a couple years ago, but he'd retired.
Because I thought Michael Caine was doing... Oh, no, he's not in The Odyssey, but he's done all of Nolan's movies. No, he wasn't in Tenet, was he?
No, he must have only recently retired because he made a movie in the last
recently,
couple of years.
right?
Yeah, he made The Great Escaper in 2023, so he must have just been a recent retirement.
Yeah, I don't remember him.
Anyway, because that was the headline. He's coming out of retirement for The Last Witch Hunter 2, which is a funny kind of headline.
Out of all the movies, they must have paid him.
Or he really liked the script.
Maybe him and Vin Diesel just really get along.
Could you imagine them playing D&D together?
Maybe because Michael Caine played a car in Cars 2, he likes Fast and Furious, and he's like, I like that Vin Diesel fella.
I like that if they could be playing D&D at home. It's like, I rolled a 20, Vin. Just like, I don't need the DM, Vin.
Michael Caine and Christopher Walken is just the same.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what made me happy. Something different, I guess. Anyway, we'll move straight in. Before we get straight in there, we have a quick little PAX announcement. Some of the guest speakers, story like the storyteller kind of thing, they always have the storytime speaker has been revealed. The keynote speaker is Gavin Verhey, who is the Magic the Gathering principal designer. So he comes up with all the cards. He's chief nerd of creativity stuff, basically. He comes up with all the cards and...
Yeah, and I'm guessing that his clothing is made out of money.
Yeah, so he's like the big shot who comes up with all the different sets and I guess the creative direction of the cards as they come out, which is interesting.
Fascinating job.
Yeah, especially recently they've been doing a lot of crossovers with other IP, which they haven't always done. Like in the recent years, they did Lord of the Rings, they've done Final Fantasy, all that kind of...
The Final Fantasy crossover made bank. Yeah, absolute bank.
I think we talked about this, maybe it was off air, but it's those ones make sense because it's they're kind of fantasy, but there's other ones like Marvel or there's other spin-off.
I remember do you remember when they did Lord of the Rings one? And there was one ring card.
Yeah.
And so you see, did you see
Post
the footage
Malone
of the guy?
Post Malone
He purchased it off the guy who found it. But you can see the video of the guy opening the pack of it and his hands just
because it's literally $1 million card. You can retire off that card.
Yeah.
Have that card.
Nuts.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Such a great idea though. I love that golden ticket kind of concept.
Yeah.
It's such a great marketing tactic. Anyway, I'm sorry.
But anyway, so I guess in a way, this is probably the guy who's brought Magic the Gathering from being purely a nerd's hobby. Your nerdy
a hobby shop hobby, to the masses.
To bringing real big crossover.
Yeah, crossover.
But do you think crossover brings in new people, or it just
100%?
For the old
look
people?
At the Final Fantasy thing. Where it's that's an entire market on its own.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're now saying you can because the Final Fantasy market is super obsessed with characters, and there are people who collect everything about a certain character or whatnot. So suddenly you've got a world like Final Fantasy VII. So suddenly you go I need to get that Magic the Gathering set because it's got limited artwork that you can only get from that set.
Yeah, but
so suddenly you got more people buying those products that normally wouldn't.
I think you're exposing obsessive fan bases to your product. They will buy the cards just because they like that
just
IP.
For the art or
the IP,
just for the collection.
But I'm saying you wouldn't get a whole... maybe they do, but I doubt they would get a huge influx of new Magic players.
Not regular players,
maybe a small amount. But
you would get some retention, but I think the goal is you're getting that whole other base to buy your product.
Because I feel like Magic is kind of
you're bringing in more consumers, not necessarily retaining them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
but for the business is good.
A fraction of those would continue to play the game past the Final Fantasy sets because those sets are only relevant for the current meta, presumably.
Yeah,
and there's also a million. There's also a million different metas in Magic the Gathering. So but in 10 years from now, how many of those people are going to be playing Magic the Gathering?
Much like Warhammer, I wish I had the time and the money and the patience.
If we're retired, sure, but no, you can't do it while you have a job.
Because I feel like you have to. When you're a Magic person, you have to be a Magic person.
Yeah.
When you're a Warhammer person, you have to be a Warhammer.
It's what you have to do on your Friday nights for the rest of your life.
Yeah. It's we can't watch movies to talk about on the show because we're playing Warhammer or playing
You're
Magic.
listening to the Magic the Gathering review.
Friend of the show, Alex, had that idea once. He was toying with joining the station as a Magic the Gathering program, and I'm I love it.
There is a Magic a popular Magic podcast which I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, but just like a random radio show in the middle of the night, it's Alex talking about Magic the Gathering. I'd love
Midnight Magic with Alex.
Midnight Magic, yeah. But we could talk all night about this kind of stuff.
We'll move on because we started a bit late tonight. The other kind of guest speakers are going to be Josh Sawyer, the studio design director for Obsidian Entertainment.
Love him.
Pillars
of Eternity rules.
Yeah, chief RPG nerd at Obsidian.
Also did what was that game? Pentiment. He also did.
Yeah,
Pentiment.
he did.
Yeah.
So he's done all that kind of stuff where they double down on the traditional kind of role playing games.
He did New Vegas.
Yeah, which is all good time.
Yeah.
Also, we're also going to be joined at PAX Oz by Joshua Mills, the game director of Rainbow Six Siege. The kind of the natural predator of your RPG nerd.
Yeah.
I guess. In a way. And,
on the other side of the gaming spectrum.
Yeah, that's it. Complete 180-degree switch. Rainbow Six Siege, I guess, is one of the most popular kind of COD competitors. And that's still going strong today. Also joined by Liz Mobley, the lead game designer behind Disney's 20th Century Games. So that's more of a side kind of partner. They helped with Avowed and kind of other titles for
and Xbox is going to be present at this year's PAX as well. So that'll be an interesting.
Were they there last year? Can't remember.
I don't think so. They haven't been for a few years, but like we talk every now and again, talk about how PAX is picking up steam. Well, this is like
it's coming back.
Last year they had Steam, funnily enough. But this year Xbox is apparently returning to show off their new handheld and some games. And so on.
Handheld we've been talking about for a long time. It's like, when are they going to announce it? And they finally
the ROG Ally X or whatever it's called. Not ROG Ally. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's ROG Ally Xbox or something. Yeah. ROG Ally X.
To round it out, we'll also be joined at PAX Oz this year by Good Games Morley creators, Riley, Aaron, Ricky, and Violent. They are a hilarious crew from Good Games Morley, and they're bringing their unique brand of fun to PAX Oz this year, known for their hugely popular online content and love of all things tabletop. The team will be hitting the stage for a live Magic the Gathering match against fellow creators after hours. They'll also be hosting a meet and greet and more. Expect laughs, establishing shots, and plenty of card slinging action. To round it out, also joined by Jenny Wyndham, the founder of Geeks and Grounds, host of Wholesome Games. Known for championing uplifting and inclusive gaming experiences, Jenny brings her expertise in community-driven and wholesome gaming culture to the show with nearly a decade of experience across community marketing, influencer strategy, game funding, and production roles at publishers, studios, funding organizations. She excels at nurturing thoughtful engagement with games through her content creation, hosting, and her reflective game club and podcast, Geeks and Grounds. So kind of a well-rounded PAX speaking kind of setup this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we'll be there, when is it? October the 10th? October the 10th to the 12th. So, yeah, I mean...
Come and say hi.
Come say hi. We'll have some interviews up after that. And we've got some pre-PAX kind of video content coming, so keep an eye out on our YouTube and all that good stuff.
Buy tickets to see Residents at Monster Fest so you can understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, shout out to Matt Marams. The screening for Residents is at the Cinema Nova on Sunday, October 5th. So yeah, come support that. And also shout out to Dragon Jane, who we spoke with last episode, who had his book launch.
Great guy. Lovely.
So check out his website, dragonjane.com, I think, to check out his books. Yeah, so we'll move straight along. As James was about to say, we'll round out our MIFF coverage this week. Yeah, so we had a couple of guests on the last couple of weeks, so we didn't really sort of get to round up my MIFF coverage. I guess I saw 22 movies in total. 16 like in cinema screenings. And where are my notes? Here we go. So 16 in cinema screenings and 6 screeners that we were lucky enough to get. And I won't go through all of them, but I'll just highlight. I'll talk about some of the screeners, and then I'll highlight some of the highlights that I enjoyed.
Hopefully, everything that James doesn't get a chance to talk about, you can find on his Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Pertinent ones, anyway.
Yeah, if you follow me on Letterboxd, you'll see all the movies. I've tagged them all so that they'll come up if you search for the tags. Actually, that's a good idea. I'll get that up now. So I've got them all listed.
While James is doing that, I rewatched Alien on 4K.
Very nice.
Man, it doesn't age at all.
It's the best.
Yeah.
I can't find how to...
Shout out to the ginger cat for holding it down.
He's Jonesy.
Yeah. We need more cats in films.
Yeah, I think...
The problem with cats in films is you can't tell them what to do. You can tell a dog what to do, but you can't tell a cat what to do.
Yeah.
The cat does what it wants.
I like to think that adds to the organic nature of the performance.
Yeah. Anyway.
They've changed how they how Letterboxd is laid out. So I can't find the tags. There used to be a thing that said tags.
That's okay.
And you could filter it by...
When you're ready, just interrupt me.
All right, yeah, you go off. Off, King.
I watched Glengarry, Glen Ross.
So did I. I'd never seen it before. It was really good.
Great, right? It's a sales drama from the 90s.
92.
With Kevin Spacey, Ed Harris, Jack Lemmon, and Alec Baldwin. Al Pacino. And it's one of the greatest Al Pacino / Ed Harris performances I've seen, because the yelling is so, like, everyone knows Al Pacino yells, but both Ed Harris and Al Pacino have standout yelling scenes, and it's like peak Al Pacino yelling. It's awesome. But it's also just a fascinating insight into like the predatory nature of business. And as someone who also works in retail in a supermarket setting, there are disturbing parallels for how people behave.
I think
it's any capitalist sort of.
I think it's also funny to watch that and see, like, you can see the parallels, but I also think society's just getting worse as we head towards 100%. Late stage capitalism, 100%. And everything just gets worse and people get more desperate.
Yeah, it's awful.
We're approaching like the most chaotic, unwholesome version of Terence McKenna's novelty theory, and it's terrifying. But yeah, Glengarry Glen Ross is like this noir-y, rain-soaked drama set in mainly an office building.
Yeah, it's based on a David Mamet play,
yeah,
which he adapted into the movie.
And man, it's just so great. It's like one of those, like, sometimes you watch an old movie and it fills you with the kind of joy I've talked about before when I was watching Blu-rays. And it's like something like, modern movies now, like we complain all the time about how they all look digital and they all look drab. And like this movie had if it didn't have a lot of color, but it used its lighting really well. Lots of great blues and grays. And also, like, it's a great example of a screenplay where the stakes aren't particularly high. What makes it is the characters, and it's dialogue heavy. So it's like, it's characters having like dialogues and monologues to each other, and it adds to like the depth of the film, because it's like this, like I said, like no one dies in the film. It's not that type of film, but what you do get to see is egos express themselves against each other, and it's fascinating to watch Mamet, like, do what he does with dialogue. It's awesome.
Excellent. We're also joined by Alan. The computer booted back up. We finally got the AI back after like I feel like he hasn't been here in like a month, but he's back today. How you going, Alan? What's made you happy last week?
Something's made me happy in the last week.
Or the last 4 in your case.
Yeah. There was a show about a duck.
You'll have to narrow that
from
down.
the 90s.
There's a show about a duck from the...
Is it Donald Duck?
No. It's like a...
Darkwing Duck?
It's the one that was made by the guys who animated the Rugrats, but it's an adult cartoon.
Jason Alexander does the voice?
Yes, he does.
Is it just called Duckman? No.
Something like that. It's on YouTube, among the other places like the Internet Archive. And it brought back like a core memory.
Well, it's funny you say that. Did you see that Sesame Street is being uploaded to YouTube?
Yes.
Like decades of it.
It's
it's just called Duckman.
Yeah, Duckman.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start watching that. Purely because...
Or you could watch Twin Peaks.
Oh, that too. But there was
The Sopranos.
Again, short form content. I'm watching The Sopranos, but you start on me. Short form content is a curse as well as, a boon. Because occasionally you get like a clip from that show where a guy says, there's a pig character. He's a pig man, I guess. And he's talking to a lady and he's saying, your breath is like lilacs, your voice is this, your skin is something, like all sorts of lovely complimentary things of highbrow value. And she's like, oh, you're just saying that and stuff. And he's like, what if I said you had a nice rack? And that's what kind of swooned her. I was like, what? I'm interested in this show. I'm interested.
90s cartoons were the best.
Yeah. So, and then, because it had that familiar feeling to it. And they're like, yeah, it's animated by the Rugrats guys. But they decide to make, an adult cartoon. So that's something that's kind of, again, I remember just seeing bits and pieces of it as a kid. Especially that, like, the intro scene or whatever it was. Or, I don't know if it was... I don't know what network it was on, but I think it was used to advertise the network as well. The actual duck getting squished around. I'll see if I can find the clip during our break. But, that's something that's made me happy.
Very good. All right.
Are
you ready to go, James?
So, Letterboxd is pissing me off because they changed the UI, which every time an app or website changes the UI, it usually sucks. It's like they're just doing it because there's like the algorithm has to change every to get maximum ad coverage or whatever. So anyway, I saw 22 films. We already talked about The Golden Spurtle, which was really good, probably one of my favorites out of all of them. We talked about We Bury the Dead, and we also talked about Chain Reactions. So go back a couple of episodes, you can hear about those. Some other screeners I watched was Kontinental 25, which is a new film from Romanian director Jude. What's his name?
Law.
well-known
Well-known Romanian, yeah.
Well-known Romanian.
He might be.
Radu Dude. And I'd never seen his films before. I'd heard of his films before. And I watched this one, and I think you guys would like it. It's one of those movies where it's not about like being showy and cinematic. It's shot very simply. Might have even been shot on a phone, I'm not sure, but it's just very plain digital cinematography. And it's about like a woman who works as I can't remember the word for it, but like it's just about her life, and she helps relocate homeless people to find a place to live, basically. But to do with like the zoning of buildings and stuff, and just boring. It's like her day-to-day life, but it's very deadpan. It's very it's dark but funny.
It's kind of like a Wim Wenders feel about it, like Perfect Days, or
a little bit, but less
cheery.
Yeah, and more just like how depressing like the capitalist system is, and how people navigate it. And it's just like this woman who's trying to do the right thing, but it's not like she can't land, and it's just like a lot of characters sitting around talking about like current events, and how it's like you want to be a good person, you want to do the right thing, but it's just everything makes that so difficult. And it has this really, deadpan kind of sense of humor that I really liked. So I think you guys will dig that. And I'm trying to think of a movie to compare it to. I'm sure I'll think of it after we've finished recording. But yeah, that one was good.
Sounds like Flathead almost. That kind of very slow.
A little bit, but yeah, Flathead was more. I don't know. But yeah, it was different. But yeah, Kontinental 25, I'd say check that one out. That was good. I also watched another screener. Where is it? Fwends?
Fwends, yes. Fwends. That's one I wanted to watch, but I couldn't get around to.
Yeah, so that one I enjoyed. That one's like a small Aussie indie movie, which, again, maybe shot on a phone, very, very small digital camera, something like that. It was shot in Melbourne, on the streets of Melbourne, like guerrilla style.
Did you recognize any landmarks?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
The movie starts at Southern Cross Station, and you see basically all of all the places we always walking around. So
were they too scared to come to the north, though?
Well, I mean, it's set in the CBD, so they didn't go like all the way out. But
so, you know what? I take that back. The CBD's scarier than the northern suburbs. The city, too many people.
Depends on where you are.
Yeah.
But the food's better out here.
Yeah.
So it was shot in the city, guerrilla style. The two lead actresses basically improvised the whole movie, and it's just like following them around the city, and they're talking again like very relatable, kind of talking about their lives and talking about how awful basically it is to live in the hellscape that we live in, and trying to be a good person, but also making mistakes. And yeah, the performances were good, and it's just a very simple, we've talked about with Aussie filmmakers before. It's like, just go out and do it. And this is a good example of just making a movie and, with the little resources you
Go
have.
on for it.
Yeah, just go for it. And I really appreciate that. And because it's set in Melbourne, it's like hits close to home, like literally in the geography of it. But also, like, it's like these millennial girls are talking about how awful capitalism is, and I'm like, yeah, me and my friends walk around the city and talk
You're
about
not
that.
special.
Yeah, but no. I'm saying it's like it's relatable.
It's biographical. Yeah,
It's just like, oh, I can see like me and my friends walk around the city and talk about how awful everything is, and then we also make jokes about things, and it's like, yeah, it's very relatable in that sense. So that was cool, and yeah, I just always appreciate, especially with Aussie filmmakers, but any indie filmmakers who are just like, hey, you know what? We don't have a lot of money, but you don't have a lot of resources, but let's just go out and do it. So props to them for that. What else? Oh, we also talked about Exit 8 and Toxic Avenger. So go back a couple episodes to hear about that as well. And... all right, so another screener was Lesbian Space Princess.
Which is getting a general release, I think.
Yeah, it's picked up by Umbrella. It's a Australian animated film. It's about, like, it's like a space princess, basically, in space. And her girlfriend gets, like, kidnapped or whatever, and she's, like, trying to save her from the aliens or whatever. Again, small indie Aussie production. I really appreciate that. The fact that they made animated movies is hard. And the fact that they made it like a feature-length film and got it released, and it's getting good, good feedback, and it's getting a wider release. So good on them for that. Personally, I didn't really like it that much, just because I feel like after a while, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, this doesn't have to be 90 minutes. And also, my favorite parts of the movie is Broden, Mark, and Zach from Auntie Donna do the voices of, like, the bad guy aliens. Hilarious. Amazing. And then every time they're not on screen, I'm just like, can we just go back to them being silly? Because they probably improvised a lot of it. But otherwise, yeah, the story is very, like,
it
whatever.
Short, yeah,
it's just like, go to this place and then talk about your feelings and then go here. And then it's a couple of funny bits. Demi Lardner has a funny voice cameo. So yeah, I mean, I
it's
appreciate
good that it got made.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm glad it got made, and I hope the filmmakers make more. But it's like, I was like, yeah, I've seen it. That's it. I'm done. Like, it was okay. Yeah. I just didn't vibe. I think, ideally, you'd if you have a space set movie, you'd do more things. But it wasn't really about that. It was about, the princess, like, coming to terms with a sort of situation or whatever. But yeah, it was not bad. And the last screener was First Light. So this might be the best of the screeners that I watched. This is a Filipino film, I believe, which is about a nun who, again, like, I think we really vibe with these movies that are kind of just like slow and about people kind of just trying to go about their life.
Just trying to survive.
Yeah. And this one was really well done, and it was very, like, again, like, she's trying to, like, she's a nun, she's trying to do the right thing, but the system of the church and the system of the government is keeping people down, is doing the wrong thing, and you try to do the right thing within that system and you kind of get crushed. And so it's just her sort of trying to navigate that and wanting to be a good person, and also, coming to terms with life and death. She's getting older. She works with older people. And in the church, obviously, there's, like, funerals and stuff. So yeah, it was very moving. The lead actress, Ruby Ruiz, amazing performance. One of the most moving performances I've ever seen. So that one was really good. So yeah, now that I've got those out of the way, those weren't necessarily any highlights. just ones that we were very fortunate to get screeners for. In terms of like the highlights, like the best stuff that I watched, should I go like probably best first and then...
You know what? We'll get the best ofs first. We'll go to a very quick break and then we'll come back with, I guess, a list of the more notable movies James watched over his film festival experience for Melbourne 2025. You are back on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is the Tuesday Review. James is going to tell us his favourite movies from MIFF, or the most notable ones.
All right, sure. I'll start the favourite and then I'll sort of go down.
You know what? Let's do it the other way around.
Okay.
Stinkers first.
Let's end with your favourite.
No, I mean...
He doesn't need to mention the stinkers.
There weren't no
the
stinkers.
risk we run into is that then there won't be enough time.
Yeah,
There weren't no stinkers, of course. That was a joke.
No, everything I saw was good.
Yes.
There was nothing bad this year.
Although you did say it wasn't at the heights of the 2023 MIFF.
When we went 2023, that was like we were when we started off really strong, and then we were just hitting like masterpieces. So yeah, this year wasn't as good as that year. But yeah, and everything I saw,
Probably
I enjoyed.
will be, James.
Who knows? Well, hopefully one day. Yeah. So I'll say. So I saw The Secret Agent, right? So this is the first movie where I was like, this is the best of the year so far. So I saw that like sort of in the middle of my screenings. That was just like the first one where I was like, oh yeah, this one's amazing. So this one was getting huge, accolades and whatever. I think it won at Venice or Cannes or whatever. It's getting, won the big prize. It's a Brazilian movie set in the 70s about, the dictatorship and whatever. And it's about a guy who basically, I guess he goes into witness protection sort of thing. Because he's like, spoke out against the government or whatever, so he has to lay low. And it's just this incredible, it's really long. I think it's almost 3 hours. And it's just this really incredible kind of, sort of wandering, free-spirited kind of period movie, kind of where he's just like navigating, this time and place. And it's got this kind of magical realist quality to it. And yeah, I was just like, holy crap, I can see why this is getting as much praise. Mm. Yeah. So that was the first one that I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. So that was The Secret Agent, and Wagner Moura, who's the lead actor, he was getting all the lead actor awards. Yeah, it was really cool, and I really liked it. And it also had, like Inherent Vice, where it's like this weird humor, and there's like, it's not really about anything, but it's like they're running around and they're doing stuff, and it's set in the 70s, and it's like cool and vibey.
And surreal. And
a bit surreal, yeah. So it's got that. But then it's got this obviously very, overarching theme or layer of like, the dictatorship in the 70s and like the violence that's going on, and the generational trauma and there's family dynamics. And it reminded me of 100 Years of Solitude, the novel. So yeah, it was really, that one was the first one where I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. Then after that, I'd say, then I saw Sorry Baby, which is another movie that was getting a lot of buzz. So I was like, oh, I have to see that because everyone's talking about it. This one's like I won't use the word dramedy. It's like a drama. It's funny, but it's very dark. But I don't think the word dramedy does it justice. Like, it's not the correct term.
Yeah.
So this was written and directed by Eva Victor, who also stars in the film as the main character. And I think this is her first directorial.
Is there a baby involved?
No, but there is a kitty cat.
Okay.
There is a baby at the end, but you'll see. I have
Does
to see
it get
the
an
movie.
apology?
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Ruined the whole movie. Yeah, but this is a really good, again, slow kind of about this woman, Agnes, her life, and
contemplative.
Yeah, contemplative, and like kind of quiet. Yeah, but and obviously then something bad happens, and she has to deal with it, and it's like kind of flashes back and shows like how, you know, and it leads up to the current events, whatever. I think what really impressed me though was, I mean, it looked nice and the performances were good, whatever, but I think it's one of the best balancing acts of both humor and like drama, like emotional, you know, sadness and impact. So, you know, there are so many movies that are like dark and funny, but also kind of sad, and they balance that. I think Sorry Baby is one of the best examples of balancing that tonal tightrope.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene which I won't spoil, but there's a character describing something really awful that happened to them, and yet there is humor in that scene, and not in. It's hard to describe again without spoiling it and without like directly trying to figure out like all the other movies that kind of do this, but it was such on a fine line of like, this isn't funny, but it is. And not in a way of like a dark comedy where it's like, oh, this is so awful, but it's cringe and I'm laughing kind of thing. It was just very, very human and raw. And so it's, I guess, kind of in real life, you're like, I shouldn't laugh, but, you know, it's funny. And, oh, isn't life absurd sometimes? And isn't, you know, all these awful things happen, and it doesn't really make sense. And then, you know, hindsight's 20/20. You look back on it, and you're like, "Wow, that was awful," but I can kind of laugh about it. It's just a very, very well balanced, well made movie. So that one I really liked. That's getting a lot of buzz around it as well. So I guess I'll mention this one. Oh, there's a couple of... See, they're all good.
Movies.
They're all good.
Too many movies.
I'll quickly mention A Useful Ghost, which that was really good. I really liked that. That was a movie about a woman who dies, and her ghost comes back to possess a vacuum cleaner to help her husband, basically around the house. But that's only like the beginning. Like I thought, oh, what a quirky idea. What a fun little concept, you know? And then you're watching it and you're like, oh, that's just one small part of a much larger... Like it's a long movie. It's over 2 hours. Like it's not just this kind of quirky ghost comedy. It's this larger... exploration of like death and grief, and more importantly, kind of like with The Secret Agent, it's about like, it's an Indonesian movie. It's about like the dictatorship there, and like the violence and stuff there as well. So that was really interesting. It's like, it starts off as this quirky little you know, comedy, romantic kind of comedy, where it's like he falls in love with the vacuum cleaner because it's his wife. And then there's this whole other thing where it's like the ghosts of the past, and how, you know, the violence and generational trauma of the events in Indonesia, like with the government and protests and all that stuff. But again, really well balanced, really funny. So really well made. This is a really interesting example of you think you're going in watching one thing, and it's just like, wow, that's just a small slice of a much larger...
Best way to go into it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the last two, there's other movies I saw that were great, and we should talk about them another time, but don't have a lot of time. But the two, I'd say, again, they're all great, but the two quote-unquote best movies that I saw were Left-Handed Girl and It Was Just an Accident. So It Was Just an Accident is a Iranian movie, which try not to spoil it, but it's about a family driving down the road at night. There's no street lights. It's dark, and they hit a dog, and that sets off a chain of events that's, again, explores the Iranian dictatorship and the regime and the oppression.
Was that the theme of MIFF in a way for some of these movies?
Well, there were a lot of movies about that, and
I know sometimes MIFF, like, they'll have like a through line that kind of like a very vague.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's intentional, but when we do watch a lot of these movies in succession, you see the
festivals tend to capture a zeitgeist of a given time,
and
especially
it's also
if it's curated. It's
and it's also, I guess, because all these movies are coming out at the same time, so it's a large part of it is
if you're in Melbourne, you're probably a lefty, so you're less likely to get the I Love Ronald Reagan documentaries on the circuit.
Well, I mean, those movies aren't good, and that's why you don't see them mostly.
I've never seen them, maybe they are. But my point is that, like, you're probably more likely to get that in, like, the Liberal Party Film Festival rather than rather than the Melbourne International Film Festival.
What a miserable affair that would be.
Anyway, this is interesting to note, I guess.
So it's just, and it's a shame as well, because around the world, in different countries, different cultures, throughout the decades, there's always been violence and oppression, and unfortunately, it's something we're still dealing with, and something we're still fighting against, and we're seeing it here in Australia, especially recently.
I think it's good to see movies made from the people that live there and their perspectives too.
Yeah, but it also, like, a good movie like that, like, a movie set in 70s Brazil or set in Indonesia or whatever, or another movie I saw called Harvest, which is like, 1700s Scotland. And I'm like, all these movies, they have this theme of, like, oppression and, like, capitalistic kind of how it just ruins everything. Like, people trying to control and, using violence and putting restrictions on certain things, and, telling you who you can and can't love, or what you can and can't say, and putting a dollar sign at the front of everything. It's just, unfortunately, it's a big problem around the world, and it has always been. And when you make a good movie about it, not only does it highlight that section of, like, where the filmmaker is coming from, Iran in this case, but it also highlights, like, just oppression around like, you can relate to it. It's also, It Was Just an Accident is also another great example of balancing humor and that sadness and kind of raw sort of emotion. So I can't really spoil it, but I think you guys will really like this. I think people should definitely go out and see it. It again, very simple cinematography, kind of just let's like, the camera's just locked off, and, like, characters will just kind of walk in and out, and, like,
nice,
really very long takes, beautiful long takes.
Loves it. Just let it all happen within the frame and leave it alone.
And not only that, but, like, most of the actors were, like, first time, like, non-actors, and they're just incredible. And also, it was shot in Iran, which, without
probably
permits
difficult.
or whatever, so it was shot basically, without quote unquote permission.
So you're seeing behind the curtain a little bit.
Yeah, and also, you could, I think the filmmaker himself has been in jail a couple of times because the regime was like, we don't like what you're doing and saying. So, it does put the filmmakers and in a certain amount of danger when they make movies like this.
Well, especially Iran, for all of its, I guess, problems with the government, they have some great cinema. Was it Holy Spider?
I haven't seen that.
Was
Did you end up watching that?
I haven't watched it yet, but that got all the acclaim.
I remember I talked to it on the show. I was like, that movie was awesome.
Yeah, my favorite vampire movie comes out of Iran.
Yeah. Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. That was a great movie.
I tell people to watch it, and everyone just gives me lip service. Yeah. And then I'm like, you're missing out.
You also have to know your audience, because you go up to like producer Christian, who never watches anything, and you'll say, "Have you seen Tarkovsky's Sacrifice?"
Solaris, Sacrifice. Yes, like even more unrelatable.
Yeah, it's like he has no idea who Tarkovsky is.
I saw it on TikTok though, Christian. Look, all right, I'll watch
his
it.
algorithm is not the same as ours.
To be fair, if you like these slow meandering movies, nostalgia is the one for you.
Yeah. But yeah,
big ups to Iran's film industry.
Yeah,
such a
and especially
industry in quotation marks.
I should say, despite of its industry, it's cinema,
and especially because the filmmakers who are and artists who are making this stuff are putting themselves
at risk.
Yeah, exactly. So shout out to them. Yeah, so It Was Just an Accident. Amazing movie. The other best film was Left-Handed Girl, which was the last movie I saw at MIFF. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll squeeze another one in after. Maybe I'll watch another screener when I get home. But this movie was just so good that I was like, I'm going to end it on a high note. And I'm like, this is one of the best ones of MIFF this year. So I'm just going to leave it there. Like, that's going to be the last one. So Left-Handed Girl is a Taiwanese film about a little girl and her older sister and her mother living in Taipei. And again, it's just like about their life. Going about, like, the mum runs this kind of noodle shop, and the older sister's like trying to acting out and trying to kind of move out on her own, and it's just about their life in the city, and the family dynamic and stuff, and working and trying to pay the rent, and they're really struggling to make ends meet, and again, like, very human, funny, but also kind of sad, raw, emotional, but also like there's this whimsical quality to it. It was co-written and directed by Shi-Ching Zhao, who is married to Sean Baker, and she and he are sort of creative partners. Like, she produces and does a lot of his films. So this is her film, directed by her as well. And it's definitely got that energy.
Has she done something else that I'd know?
Not as director. She co-directed with Sean Baker.
No, Sean Baker, I mean.
Sean Baker did Anora.
Sean Baker did Tangerine, Florida Project.
Okay.
Red Rocket and Anora.
Anora, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
so okay. And I'm a huge Sean Baker fan, which I've talked about on the show before. And his wife is his sort of creative partner, but also this is her first sort of solo directorial kind of effort. But it has that same energy of his films. So as a huge fan of like Sean Baker's Tangerine and Florida Project, this has a lot of that same energy. Left-Handed Girl,
Sean Baker adjacent.
Exactly, which is why I kind of gravitated towards it. It definitely has that, Florida Project kind of. There's a little bit of sense of whimsy with the point of view of the little girl, but then there's this kind of grimy, the reality of the world that they're in. So there's that aspect to it, and it's got a Tangerine element of like going around the city, and it's like energetic, and there's like driving music, and just really, really great movie. I think you guys will really like it. Funny, sad, everything. Great performances. I think so. Out of all the movies, like I said, they're all good. But It Was Just an Accident and Left-Handed Girl, I think, were my top
standouts. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess check out my Letterboxd. I've got a MIFF 2025 tag. So I guess if you search that on my profile is channeldrifter, all one word. So if you check that tag, it'll have all the 22 movies that I saw in there, and you can see how I rated them. I haven't ranked them because I feel like I don't really. Yeah, but I think if you're looking at it and going like, this is too many movies, well, now you know which two to focus on. Yeah. But yeah, there was a lot of other great movies. Other ones that I think you guys really like that I'd like to talk more about. But we run out of time. We also saw Eddington, which I think maybe we'll talk about another week, because that's a very
topical,
controversial,
I think it's just
divisive.
I think much like Midsummer, I think it's just misunderstood.
Well, Beau Afraid is more appropriate.
I think it's
we actually told maybe we'll talk about this another time, but we actually told Nathan, I'm like, before you watch Eddington, watch Beau Afraid.
They're companion pieces,
so you have a primer to where Eddington goes. Because if you watch Eddington without any other context, you'd be like, what is this guy on? But
I think Alan needs to watch Beau Afraid.
They're both Eddington and Beau Afraid are really, really great films. They're also kind of Beau Afraid
very different.
It's stressful. So it's like Beau Afraid starts at a certain place, and Eddington is like, this is how that place came to be.
What is Ari Aster? For Alan's context, Ari Aster himself describes Beau Afraid as Jewish Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
but in terms of neuroses and like.
It's like it's an epic journey.
It's a very neurotic guy who goes on an adventure.
Yeah, so he gets
basically that's
the point. The chief can see is that he has to go and visit his mother.
But it's extremely anxiety.
It's like he goes outside.
No,
he's like, my sinus.
No, basically, but he has to go and see his mother, and the world is a kind of hellscape.
Yeah, without spoiling it, like
man can't drive. He has to take public transport, but he's scared of public transport.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, but you're on the right track.
Imagine the most stressful
I feel like this will just get me angry.
A lot of people hated it.
You'll feel a lot of things, all right?
We went to the movies to see it, right? Yeah. And we're in the and I love that decision that I got to see this on the big screen. It is stressful, but then there are moments of sheer beauty. And moments that like really made you like appreciate life.
Yeah, but
and
I also
then it
love
gets
that.
straight back into the
ends
stress.
up at a bagel shop and he just gets the Gravlox.
I love
the cream cheese and he's like
I love that genre though. Like one of my favorite genres and some of my favorite movies is like the After Hours, Good Time,
Stress Fests.
Uncut Gems, Mother. It's like just characters going crazy, getting more and more stressed out.
After Hours is like a good companion piece to Beau Afraid as well. It occupies a similar space.
Yeah, it's this frantic kind of.
Like, why can't I get home? I just want to go home, and no one's going to let you go home.
Yeah, and just everything keeps going
wrong. Sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
Well,
After Hours,
it's like a nightmare. Beau Afraid is basically a nightmare.
Yeah, After Hours is like you want to go home. Beau Afraid is you have to leave home and you don't want to.
Yeah, it's safer inside. Yeah.
Well,
but is it really? Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we are pretty much running out of time for tonight. Thanks for joining us, boys. You can catch us on all the social media garbage. Some of it, I should say. We're on Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, Newsmaster at this point.
Yeah. At Tuesday Review AU.
And YouTube at Tuesday Review AU. You're up to 97 subscribers as of this recording.
Yes. Subscribe to our YouTube. We're trying to hit 100 before the end of the year.
And we hit 30,000 total views on our channel.
Look at that.
I don't.
Someone's going to play Funny Buggers, though. And as soon as we hit 100 subscribers, they're going to subscribe.
100%. Yeah. So as soon as we hit, we have to... Actually, we should maybe get to 102 subscribers. So then if a couple... but yeah, we will have we do have exclusive video content on YouTube, and we'll have more in the coming weeks. And once we get to PAX in October, we'll have a lot more video content there. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel at Tuesday Review AU.
Give us 5 stars. It helps us out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We're all on Letterboxd. I'm Nathan B_90.
Yes, I'm channeldrifter.
I'm Alan20.
And I'm callumtuesday.
And we'll see you next week. Adios, cousins.